Sorry about that. I think I stopped the recording by accident, and then I just started speaking, thinking that the video was on basically a pause. I took a break, took something to drink, and then came back again, only to realize I stopped the recording and it wasn't on pause, and now I'm doing this again. I'm not doing the thing over, but I'm doing the continuation part. So, yeah, this video will be split into two. But still, this will be an interesting what if, so I'll continue it. As Argraf walks down, as Argraf is by the table, he sets some food down. It's not quite a feast, I guess, but it's quite nice. As Izuki doesn't know what to do. She doesn't really eat. As Argraf basically puts a plate in front of her, sits down on the other side of the table and starts eating and asks questions. So, young little missy, what's your name? Izuki. Izuki, huh? You have a second name? As Izuki states, Midoriya. Huh. As I would say, Agraf would look at her. Look at her a bit weirdly. As he would turn his head, states, you have a weird name, Miss Izuki. As she states, yes, my mother gave it to me. Huh. And you're Midoriya, I guess. Now, Izuki, are you not gonna eat the food as he so graciously made that I so graciously made for you? As Izuki states, yeah, as she doesn't know really how to state that she's not completely human. She doesn't know how to state it. As I would state that she would cover her hands up and just continue talking to Argraf as Argraf speaks. As I would say, eventually Argraf would ask, so Izuki, when are you going to take those robes off and show me your face? I mean, the nice guard did give you a place to live and also work. So you might as well trust me because you'll be living with me for a while. As Izuki states, yes, okay. She would be a bit not sure what to do, as she would slowly unwrap or take off the robes that she had on. As she would pull off the robes, as I would say Agraf would be eating until he sees this glittering, basically hair, as he basically would stop eating, stare at Izuki with open mouth widely, as his bread that he had in his mouth would just fall back onto the food table as he would just stare in awe while looking at Izuki, as he would state the following, what the hell? As Izuki states, I don't think I really need to eat. As he, as he would basically be looking at Izuki at the moment, her face, as he would see her hair. It basically glows like the rainbow itself. Very beautiful. The most beautifulest thing that this dwarf has ever seen. She is basically the epiphany of beauty. Why I say that? Because number one, this dwarf doesn't just work on doesn't just work on swords. This dwarf also works on magical swords. And sometimes he also works on magical items and even gems. And he can admit when he sees a gem that is very rare and very beautiful. But there is nothing in his life that can compare to the scene he is seeing now. He was literally speaking to a gem that was alive and had a sentient mind. as he stares in awe. Number one, he's amazed at how beautiful she is. Number two, he's realizing that she looks like a gem, or she actually is a gem, a sentient gem. Number three, he's also realizing that the gem that she has magical properties. And most importantly, four, he is in awe and amazement on how rare that this is just one in a million. This gem is one in an infinity. You will never find someone like Izuki, her gem. You'll never find Izuki as it basically in ever. You'll never find it. That's one in a million, and this man is one of the most luckiest men to ever come across Izuki. As this man stands up slowly, basically makes his posture right, walks past the table and into an open area. As he states, Izuki, follow me. As he walks over to a table that has a device, a few magnifying glasses and whatnot. It's to inspect gems as he basically lights the candles that are there. As gems are shown, like multiple gems are shown on the table. As he asks, may I? As Izuki unravels her hand and gives it to him. As he looks at her hand within this magnifying glass, seeing that there is not a speck or scratch on her, as he basically starts pulling basically her hand or her finger, I guess, as it turns like into a liquid type of diamond. As he states, incredible. As I would state, he would inspect like pieces of her. He would take off the magnifying glass and inspect her. Her hair, not a speck or a scratch on her. Her feet, number one. He would take, I would say, like a small hammer. She would be scared at first, as he states, don't worry, I won't hurt you. I am very delicate when it comes to that stuff. As I would state, he would tap, basically, the leg, as her leg would make a sort of sound. Ding! It's us. This stone is very powerful. As he would look, basically, all over her, being very impressed and very excited. He never in his life thought that he would come across a person like her, or like Izumi, here. As he would say, forgive me, I've been gawking so much over you that I didn't introduce myself. My name is ah, this is what I hate about naming things. That a name that I would not remember. As he would state his name, the one that I stated before, as he states, to translate the name for you, you can just call me. My name in the tongue of the Dwarven tongue stands for steel. So you can just call me Miss. It's technically weird. His name is technically weird because in the Dwarven tongue, the name translates to steel. It's basically iron and steel. So so he says you can call me Mr. Steel, I guess. That's quite a weird name, Mr. Steel. Sir Steel, what should we do? Just thinking of that now. A god ran up to him, Sir Steel, what should we do now? As if it's in a war. Yeah. But moving on to the story, I don't want to make a joke of this man's name for a while. But in the Dwarven tongue, it translates to steel. And no, do not Google this. This is something I made up. Don't Google this, any of you. This is something I made up. So it's a language I made up. His name I made up. So his name in translation to his name I made up. It's not literally the translation in Dwarven tongue. As I would state, as he would state, as I would say, Izumi states, kind of a weird name. As he states, yes, yes, everyone says that. But anyway, as he would ask questions, he would ask questions about her family. As she states, she never had a family. She woke up in a cave, and that's all she remembers. She would not, Izumi would not tell her about her past life, of what she remembers about her past life. She wouldn't tell him that. She would only tell him that she only remembers waking up in a cave, a very dark cave, and that's it. And in this cave there was also, I guess, water. As I would say, he would keep on looking over her as he would see the tail. As he's like, my oh my, you're also a different, you're not completely modeled after a human. You're modeled after a demi-dragon, aren't you? As he would look at the tail and the ears. She would say, yes. Hmm. As this man would actually be very, very happy. Why? Because number one, he knows right now in his presence there is nobody in the entire universe that would top what he's just seen right now. I mean, yes, he's very passionate of making gems and swords and items, but this basically takes the cake. This is one of the most beautifulest gems he has ever seen. And on top of that, one of the most, what he thinks, one of the most rarest gems, and one of the only living species of gem to exist that actually has an intellect and is not a monster. As yeah, they would speak, as I would say that Izumi would go to her room eventually, as she couldn't really sleep. She doesn't really know what to do, as she would be messing with her level up, her sheet, or basically a level up sheet, with all her basically things that she has. All she has on her sheet is just level 1, level 1, name of species unknown. Name, insert player name here. I'm just gonna say that, insert player name here, for people, because I told you you were gonna get to name her. Insert player name here, Izumi Midoriya. And skills. The skill she has, passive skill, Yin Yang. That's one of her passive skills. And that's one of her only passive skills she knows about. She has about 10 passive skills she doesn't know about. So technically she has 11 passive skills, and I think she has more skills that she's able to use, but she doesn't know about it yet. As she starts messing around is one of the passive skills reveals itself. Passive skill, mana detection. As she is able to detect mana around her and see the flow of mana and how it moves. She also unlocked, actually she unlocked two. It's two passive skills, so it's mana detection, and the second skill she doesn't really know what it does. Neither she knows the name. All she can take out of it is if somebody has more, basically a higher aura or a higher power of mana than her, then her power of mana shall increase to that level. So yeah, it's quite an OP thing, but there are rules to it. There are certain rules to it because it's not to boost herself, it's to boost other people around her. You're gonna see this in action later. As I would state, she would just close her eyes, not really going to sleep. She would keep her eyes closed eventually until the morning, where she would open her eyes, and she would say good morning. As as the, oh, I'm about to cough. I'm sorry about that. I have a bad allergy now. As Izuku would basically open her eyes and see the old man, as she would say good morning, Mr. Steele, and she would giggle on that a bit. Odd saying a person's name like that. She'd say, good morning, Miss Midoriya. Uh, you don't look quite tired. Did you have a nice sleep? As Izuku states, I can't really sleep. I'm not really a physical living being. I'm just a stone that has intelligence and can move. I don't really need to live the life of a normal being. As the old man states, "Oh right, yes." As the man's like, "Okay, come on, we have work to do. And also, I prepared something last night for you." As the old man gives Izumi, like, it's basically clothes. The clothes represents, um, think of Altair, like that, but more for female. As it's a double layer, it's 3 layers thick. It's basically 3-layer clothes with a hoodie. As it keeps her reflection or her basically what she is hidden, because she doesn't really like to show off what she is to everyone. She likes to keep to herself, and the old man can tell that so much. As the old man states there, now you don't need to wear those old robes anymore. As the old man states, also wear these gloves and also these, I guess, wear these gloves and these boots. As he would give gloves and boots to her, as they are leather, but the gloves they have open parts by their fingers, so that's one good thing, I guess. As the old man would show her around the workshop area, as the old man would tell her what to clean, where to put certain things, and where to basically place certain things, what to fill up and keep the fire in the furnace burning by filling it up with coal every once in a while. She would do that during the day. She wouldn't do it right her first time, but during the day she would do it, as she would gain a few skills. As sh I still need to think of the skills that she would gain, but she would gain a few skills. As the skills that she gained is number one, multitasker. You are efficient at doing everything and anything at the same time. Technically, she can't do everything, but she's efficient at doing everything, certain things at the same time. Whether it be cleaning up, keeping the fire burning, or basically refilling certain areas with iron, or yes, helping the old man with certain things while doing another thing at the same time. You are efficient at doing that. That's what the multitasker skill is. It is a passive skill, so it constantly is on. Second skill. Technically, the second skill is a passive skill made cleaning skill. It's level 1 at the moment. She is more proficient at cleaning and putting everything in its place and where it's supposed to be. And third skill, picture perfect memory. You remember this skill is at level 2 at the moment. You recall everything. Anything that you remember, everything that you think is important, you will remember. And everything that you do not think is important, you will forget. You recall certain things from your past. You are able to recall certain things from your past, but things that is only you deemed necessary to remember. This skill is a passive skill, but it can only be activated if you deemed a certain object worthy. Sorry about that. I was just focusing on another thing for a minute. So yeah, pretty useless skills in combat. But you'll see what they'll be evolved later. Continuing on. She also gained a level 2. Her durability has increased by 10. She's 20 durability. She doesn't shatter on impact when a rock falls on top of her. It takes the rock at least twice to hit her before she shatters. So she gotten a bit durable. And also, she has finally gotten something new. She's finally unlocked her strength trait. What does that mean? She couldn't really see how strong she was until now. She had a base strength level of 15, pretty weak, as now that has moved up to 30. As she's pretty, as she is basically cleaning up the area and leveling up these skills. As I would say, the man would basically, she would be curious in how the man makes weapons, as she would watch him, as she would watch him and memorize every movement and everything that he does to make a weapon. Swords, bows, shields, and even reforging them, how to repair them, and vice versa. Even how to make gloves and armor for herself. This would be with picture perfect memory, which would be boosted all the way to level 4 because of while she's doing that, as it evolved to perfect memory. She recalls everything and remembers everything. Everything as the skill is passively activated, everything that she remembers is basically picture perfect. She can repeat everything with utmost efficiency, and she remembers everything like it was yesterday. This skill has reached its max level, which is max level 4. This skill can be combined with another skill to make something different. But she does not have the requirements to do that yet. Continuing on, as I would state, Izuku Midoriya would watch this old man as he works. Basically how he basically makes a sword, to how he repairs it, to how he makes gear and all that jazz. Even to how he makes a gem. As she would ask eventually that he teach her how to basically make weapons. As the man stated that making swords and weapons is a very serious business, and that she needs to have utmost discipline and knowing the rules and basically the rules of how a forgery works. As he states, if I am going to teach you how I make weapons, then you are going to have to be utmost disciplined. As she states, yes, she would agree to the man's terms. As as first thing in the morning, early morning, he would start basically teaching her weapons, because it's usually early morning. The hunters are going out on their hunt, their annual hunt or quests, as it's usually later evening where he gets so much hunters that he has to repair weapons or make new weapons for them. As he teaches her the basics on how to make a sword. As I would state, As I would state, her first try, he was pretty impressed. For a person doing it for first time, she has quite some skill. And for a newbie, it's quite impressive. As the man states, how did you get this good? As I would state, she would state, as she states, I just did what you did. As the man would look at the sword and state, I see. As he would, I guess, point the sword at basically Izuku, as he would state, number one of a blacksmith, never copy another blacksmith. Reasons being, every single blacksmith that exists in this world has their own style of making weapons, and they have their own way of repairing them too. You can't learn by me by trying to copy me. It's impossible. You can only learn to become a blacksmith by creating your own style and your own way of making weapons. I can only teach you the basics. You have to come up with your own way of repairing, making, and forging your own weapons. Whether it be from the fire of the forge, or it be by the crescent of a hammer. You have to learn and find. You have to make and learn your own way of making a weapon. As Izuku would nod. As I would state, this man would teach her the basics, as he would leave her alone for an entire day. This man stated you can use the forge at the back of the house as much as you want, and melt down the weapons that you basically made until you made a perfect sword, until you mastered your craft. Then come back to me and show me what you've made. As I would state, Izuku would accept the challenge, as she would walk to the back of the building. The back of the building, there would be a forge, a very old forge, as hasn't been lit in a while. As there would be an anvil, an old hammer, a few old swords, iron bars, and other stuff like that. As she would begin her work, lighting up the forge and basically heating it up, preparing her area and starting to make a sword. As I would state, she would pour the molten metal lava as she would try to make a sword at her first try, failing and remelting the sword that she basically made down back again. She would make it again and again and again and keep on trying until she has mastered her craft. This took at least 5 days and 5 nights straight through. As I would state, she would come out of the forge eventually. As the man would look behind him, and she would be a mess. There would be black marks all over her clothes. As she would take out the sword and show it to him. It's a basic sword, but he can tell it's a perfect craftsmanship. Someone that used technique and skill. He thought that it would take her much more longer to do it, not 5 nights and 5 days, just to do this. As he would smile and states, okay, I guess I have to give you a much more harder challenge then. As she would put the sword that she made on the ground, states, bring it on, old man. As he would give her more and more techniques that she could worry about. Some would be making armor, making basically repairing a shield, basically reforging a shield, or repairing it, making gloves out of leather, even making gems. as really the gym part was hard. Because every time she basically used the hammer, oh no, she wouldn't have that problem because of her hand. Yeah, I keep on forgetting. Um, no, never mind. The gym part was easy for her. So was the hammer part. As I would state that the final, basically thing she would learn to make a weapon would come. Okay, little missy, I've taught you everything I know. Now I have to teach you the one fundamental thing you need to learn. How to enchant a sword, or how to make a magical weapon. Magic, to be explained, is split into multiple categories. You have healing magic, you have support magic, you have attack magic, you have summoning magic, and vice versa. I'm going to teach you how to make an elemental attack sword. It's going to be hard, but everything you put into this will prove if you are, will prove, will only basically, what he's trying to state is, because I can't put it in his words at the moment, I have to put it in my words. What he's trying to state is everything that she does now is only going to benefit her in the future. That's what I'm trying to state. I'm trying to say that, but I can't say that. I don't know why. It's so hard to say that. As the old man would smile and tell her the techniques on how to make a magical sword. That she has to imbue a magical sword with magic power of her own and a specific element. She also has to use a crystal at the same time. Magical swords are very powerful. She also needs to use magic steel. It means that magic steel can only be created with magic crystals and steel forged together and then imbued with magic mana, and a elemental stone must be placed somewhere on the sword or the weapon of their choosing. A magical weapon is very, very weak. Reasons being because it's being mixed in with a crystal or gem, which is a mana gem, just a specific mana gem. To make magical steel, a magical iron weapon is very, very weak and could break once it runs out of mana. Yes, it's very powerful, but if you wanna, but here's the problem. Magical weapons are expensive in this world, and not even people with billions and millions want to buy a magical weapon. Reasons being because the magical weapons, you buy a magical weapon, you use it, and it breaks immediately. Once it runs out of mana that has been imbued within the sword. Why does it break? As I stated, it runs out of mana. See, the only thing that's keeping the sword together is mana itself, or magical power. Yes, you can insert magical power into the sword by repairing it, but who says the magical power that's within the sword will last all the way to the blacksmith? You go out adventuring and that magical sword breaks on you. You have no other sword to fight with. So magical weapons, such as a magical attack sword, is very risky to have, and is only a one-time use thing. If it breaks on you, it breaks. But our little Izumi is going to change that. You're gonna figure something out. She's gonna figure something out with magical weapons. Just a few seconds. As I would state that the old man would explain why magical swords are very expensive, and also why they are very risky to have in battle, as I explained itself. Number one, magical weapons, magical swords can easily break. especially magical swords. Now, yes, they are very powerful, and yes, they are very deadly. But the only thing that's keeping them holding together, the only thing that's keeping the sword together, is magic itself. If the magical power runs out, that's it for the sword, and it can never be used again. It will shatter and break, and once it breaks, you cannot repair it. It's impossible to repair. So yes, think of it as a special bullet. As he states, think of it as a special arrow. Even special arrows, like magical arrows, are only a one-time use, such as magical swords are also that. And who says you're gonna kill the monster? Who says you're gonna kill the monster with a magical sword once it breaks? Or is it gonna break midway when you're about to end the creature, and the creature will just kill you because you have no other sword available? You just had the magical sword. As she would not she would learn that magical swords are not built to last, and that it's very risky to have one. As she would watch how he would make it. At first he would use the forge with the crystal and steel and make something called magic steel. And then he would be imbuing the magic steel with mana. As she would ask the question, why do you imbue the sword with magical steel? With magic? As as the old man, Mr. Steel, would state that imbuing the store imbuing the sword with magic will provide the magical power for it to use elemental or magic based attacks. Basically, you can channel magic through it because of this. As she states, that doesn't make sense. Can't you imbue magic on weapons without doing that? As the old man states, yes, you can run magic through objects without magic steel, but it's just much more easier and also much more effective to do it that way. But as she states, but if you didn't add magical steel to the sword and still added the magic crystal, would it still work? As she asked the question. As the man states, no, it would not work, because number one, the element attack is coming from the crystal, and there's no basically place for the magic to go. The magic steel is where all the magical firepower from the crystal goes. Into the magic sword or the magic steel that the sword's made out of, and that's what makes the fire attacks. Because we're making an elemental fire sword, explanation done. As she thinks, but mages don't need magical steel. As she states that, mages don't actually need magical steel. They just need to run their power through an object or a long, basically, I guess, staff, and use their magic. As the man states, yes, that's true. But for some people, such as warriors, they can't do that. As she doesn't really get it. I mean, everybody has access to magic, don't they? Even swordsmen, even warriors. So why don't they imbue their swords with magic instead of making a magical sword? As she would be thinking, as the old man basically looks at her. Basically, the old man looks at her, seeing the confusion on her face, as the old man would sigh, stating, "Ah, fine, let me give it you more of a junior level of explanation. Swordsman. If you are a class like a swordsman, you cannot use elemental attack magic. Neither are you able to imbue weapons with magic. It's impossible." Wait, what? Only mages are able to do that. And the thing that you're talking about, that category is called basically is called assist magic. Only a mage that is basically classed in assist magic or boosting magic is able to do that. And even if they try doing it, they can only do it for a certain amount of time. So everybody is stuck on one class. But as she looks down at her leveling system, she is level 5. Her class, she has access to basically swordsman. She has access to now at least 7 classes. Her new classes being spearman and hunter. As they're all unlocked. As the dwarf also continues, stating certain people can only use certain weapons because of their class lock. They are able to pick up other weapons, but they are not able to use them. They'll just be flailing the weapon around like a lunatic. As she is basically silent. As the man states, "What's wrong? What's wrong? Hey, are you listening?" As she snaps out of her stupidness. As she has that face of, I think I did something. As the man's like, "What did you do?" As the man says, "What did you do?" As she, I would say that there is a way to show each other's classes, as she would show basically her class to him. Her class is very weird. When she shows him her class, he doesn't see she is both a swordsman, a spearman, a knight. Yeah, he doesn't see that. He sees one class. He sees a class of a clown. He just sees a clown. Basically, the class picture is a clown. As the description states, jack of all traits. Jack of all traits. As he doesn't really get it. As he states, "What are you, trying to make a joke or something?" "Because you're not really funny, kid." As she states, "No, that's not a joke. That's my class." As he looks again, as he looks at the description, "Jack of all trades." He says it again in his mind, "Jack of all trades. Jack of all trades." As he's finally realizing what those words mean, a jack of all trades. She's she is able to use all classes, and she's able to use any one of the classes. Even she's able to use 2 classes at the same time. Jack of all trades. As this man, while he was saying the words in his mind, he took a sip of water, as he's like, "Jack of all," as he realizes, as he spits it out, as he screams, "What? There's no way. There is no way," as this man is stating, "That's impossible. That is impossible. How can that be your class?" As he basically walks up to her and starts shaking her, as she's like, "Please stop shaking me," as he stares her in the eyes and states, "Please tell me you're joking." Whoops. "Please tell me you're telling me that this is just a joke, right? You're just making a fool out of me. because it's not funny anymore. As she states, I'm not lying to you. That's my class. As she's quite dizzy at the moment. As she rubs off her dizziness. As the man states, so that's why you think, that's, now, as the man states, so that's how you basically think of the different classes. You have access to all of them, and you can use any one of them as you wish. As that's what he thinks. She can use any one of the classes as she wishes, as she wishes. That means that she doesn't really need magical weapons or a magical sword. She can just imbue a sword with magic. Whether certain people, such as swordsmen, knights, and other people that doesn't dabble into magic, can't do that. As he says, it makes sense now. That's why you were complaining about why people don't imbue their weapons with swords. It as he starts naming the different classes that she technically is. Because she states she is basically has 6 classes. As she names the classes, as he is basically taken aback as he needs to sit down. As he takes a breath, as he's a bit shaky, as he says, you girl are one of the most interesting and one of the most craziest and most entertaining person I have ever met. I am glad I met you. As the man states, as he gives a laugh, as she laughs as well, and this is all happening at the back of the building, so this is not in the front, this is at the back, and it's in the middle of the night. As I would state that she would go in, as while she is walking upstairs with the old man, she states, hey, Mr. Steele, as the old man's like, yes, Miss Midoriya, uh, do you know any magic? Magic, huh? Not really. Like, not really. I know some basic spells, but I can't use them. Why? I would like to know how to use magic, if that is even possible. As he thinks for a moment, he states, it could be possible, but I won't be the one to teach you that. As he states, how? Okay. As he gives a suggestion, or I say he'll look into people that would be able to teach you a bit of magic and how the magic system and how magic really works in this world, because he doesn't really know. Because I'm saying now, and I'm going to tell you this all now, magic in this world works a bit different. Because yes, you have skills, but skills and magic are two different things. You have skills and you have magic, which are two different things, and she doesn't really know how to access magic quite much. She has certain skills, yes, but she hasn't unlocked them. And she doesn't know what the requirements to use any of the skills will like she needs. So yeah, as I would say, she enters her room and then just closes her eyes, like she always does. Next morning, the man has been sitting up late at night, thinking about what he should do, as he got an idea. As I would state, he would be working the next day. As I would say, a person would enter the shop, an old friend of his, as he would ask this person to get in contact with basically the another old friend and tell him to come over here. He's finally gonna give that favor in that he owes. As this man would state yes, he would come in somewhere early morning tomorrow. As he states okay, while Izuku is still trying to master how to make a magical sword. It's quite hard for her, and every time she does it wrong, the sword will break and she has no way of getting back the materials. So she has to basically throw away the broken magical sword and make a new one by making more magical steel and doing everything over and using a different crystal. As a, as 2 days go by, as an old, not another old man, I would say a person walks in with a staff, stating, "You called, old friend?" "Ah, yes." "I would like you to teach a student of mine a bit of the magic foundation and how magic works." As the man would state, "Is that the favor you want?" As the man would state, "Yes, that would be appreciated." "Where is she?" As this man would point, "She's at the back." He would knock on the door as he would open it. As she states, "Yes, I finally done it. I finally done it. Gosh darn." As he would see basically 10 to nearly 30 broken swords as she is holding one in her hand which has been imbued with the fire crystal. It's a magic sword. As he states, "Good girl. I'm impressed, but now I've taught you everything I know. Now you have a different teacher." As this old man in these robes with a hoodie, basically it's a wizard's hat, would be standing behind this old man stating, So you're the little girl I must teach." The man is quite tall, as he states, "Ah, I hope I'll teach her what I can about the magical system and how it works." As the man, as Mr. Steele states, "Thank you." As he would tell them to do it somewhere at the back, basically, somewhere a bit better, as he would open a door, as this door would lead to a very, very small open place. A very, very small open place. As he would teach her the fundamentals of how magic works and what categories it has been split into. Attack magic, assist magic is buffs, enchantments. You have cursive. Gosh, what was I saying? Attack magic, buff magic. Holy, it's technically healing magic is separate, and no, no, I'm lying. It's attack magic, buff magic. Healing magic is part of the buff magic. You have curse magic, and then you have two different types of magics, which is both of the chaos and the divine type. But we'll get to that later. As he teaches the basic attack magic, which is basically fire, water, wind, earth, lightning, as I would state that he states, using magic, as he explains, using magic is quite difficult because number one, there is no skill for you to use magic. You can't just like yell out you can't just yell out a skill's name as easily as some fighters or swordsmen do and use the skill. Magic is not like that. You have to first design the spell. Then you have to first design the spell. Then you have to choose your elements, choose how big you want it, how much mana you're going to put into it, and let it rip. It sounds easy, doesn't it? But really it's hard. To use magic, you need to close your eyes. Close your eyes. As the man closes his eyes with her. She is wearing her robes, by the way, so she's wearing her assassin robes, so he doesn't see what she looks like. But she can't see what he looks like either, as they appear in a black void. As she's in a black void, she doesn't know where she is. As at the bottom is like water. As the man states outside this wall, are you in? Can you see anything? As she's like, I'm in a black area and I can't see nothing. As he states, good. This is your mindscape. Now you can manifest any magic that you wish. At first it's gonna be hard, but I'll do the basics for you. As I would say, lights start appearing. As you would see certain circles. A blue circle with multiple different circles and lines connecting different circles, I guess. To put it in more simpler terms, there is basically a big circle that has different writings on it and has the basically the spell word for water in the middle. Then there is a line connecting this one circle to different other circles as it's going backwards. Basically, it's going backwards and branching out to these circles as one states is in weird writing. As he states, that is how to make a very basic spell, which is a water spell. To make a spell is easy. All you need to do is imagine how you want the spell to be, how powerful you want that spell to be, and how that spell works, which is the final thing. So yeah, magic works way different in this one, but because she comes from a different universe that has more advanced stuff, there's more advanced than this universe, yeah, she has advantage here. As I would say, she thinks of fire. As a drawing starts appearing in front of her face. As she thinks of what she thinks of what the fire must do. It must come from the hands, so comes from the hands, moves forward as it moves very slowly in her imagination. As yeah, that's it. As she opens her eyes and sees the construct or sees how it looks. As I would state, in the real world, she would lift her hands and states, fireball. She would shoot out a small fireball, very small. As the man states, good, you might have some talent after all. How about doing a different element and trying something new? Now, there are only 4 base elements here. The only reason why I was saying there are 5 is because no one knows about the lightning element. As she thinks about the lightning element and how it works, lightning works on heat. Izuki, as a child at the age of 5, was very smart and liked science, natural science, and how elements and certain materials interacted with each other. So yeah, very smart, which is gonna be very bad for this world, for how the way this world's magic works. As she thinks of lightning, as she thinks of what it is in its base. It's basically heat, moving particles that are moving very quickly. As I would say, as she lifts her hands up in the real world, as these sparks start flying, as this man opens his eyes, stating impossible, this is as lightning starts manifesting in her hands. As I would state, she would start manipulating this lightning to do whatever she wants. Makes a lightning ball, makes a lightning whoop, and so on. As this man would be watching in awe at how she does all of these certain things with this unknown element that not even some mage that no mage that he has known has been able to accomplish. This is the power of lightning. People know what lightning is, but people never knew that mages, attack mages, are able to use it. It's basically an element that has never been found yet. It's an unknown element for everybody else. Nobody has discovered this element. So she has basically just broke the laws of just four elements existing to five. And she's the only one able to use this fifth element, which she calls lightning. As she would stop using this, she would open her eyes, stating, "Did I do it?" As this man would state, "Yes. Yes, you did," as he smiles. As it's time for this man to leave, as he states, "Oh, look at the time. I think it's time for me to leave now." As he would walk and keep on, as he would walk out of the building, as before he would leave, he would stop by the door and say, "Young miss, are you going to be an adventurer one day?" As I would state that she would think about it, as she states she doesn't really know. As this wizard old man type person would state, "I suggest you become a hunter." Why? Because your skills are wasted in here. Your skills will be much more benefit out there, in a world of adventure where you can see different lands and sights. As I would say, Mr. Steele is also hearing this conversation, as he agrees with his old friend. He's stating, "I agree with you, old friend. Her skills are wasted here." So I state that, yes, you will become an adventurer. Because you're living in my house, I order you to. But we need to put some skill in that step of yours. You've been working the forge way too much now. As she would me ask, what does Mr. Steele mean? As the old man states, combat training. As she just gets scared. As I would say, the old wizard would basically tap his stick on the floor as he would disappear in a flame. Basically disappear in fire. I'm gonna cough. Give me a minute. As this old man disappears in fire. As she would state, "Wow." As Mrs. Steele stated, "That man's always a show-off." You do know who you were just trained by, right? Who was I just trained by? You were trained by the fourth greatest wizard, attack wizard in all of the world. The fourth great attack wizard. or the fourth grade attack mage to be more specifically, in the entire world. She's like, cool. As I would state that her training or her adventure is just beginning. As she would give a smile and look at the old man and look back outside. Basically, basically having this feeling that our adventure is just beginning. And it's gonna be one heck of a ride. Now that will be it for this one. If there was a lot of background noises and disturbance in the background, please ignore it because people do not want to keep quiet, and I can not be bothered with pausing this video and stopping this video and redoing this video. So yeah, this video was quite also a messy one because I didn't get far into the story with thinking about it. I didn't get this far into the story, so I had to improvise. And yeah, I improvised quite well, I have to say. And now you have this what if. Okay, information out of the way here. This what if is gonna have a lot of interactions between me and the people watching this video. If people want to name characters, name them now. Number one, I need the name of what Izuku's name is going to be. Izuki's name is going to be. What do you want to call Izuki? Number two, what do you want to name the planet's name? The fantasy planet universe that Izuki's in, the planet itself. What do you want to name it? It's either you come up with a name or I come up with a name. Choose. And number three, the kingdom's name. What do you want to name the kingdom? Three names you need to think on until the next what if. I won't post it early. I will focus on the other what ifs until I get the three names. Also, if you want to interact with me more, I have a Discord server. I should leave it down in the description down below. If I don't do that, then the future me is a moron. Because the links to my Discord server, community Discord server, is down below. Now, also, to be honest with you, there's no one really on my Discord server but me, because no one really joined my Discord server when I linked it last time. So I'm linking it again for whoever's gonna watch this what if. My Discord is down below. Join if you have Discord, please, so I can speak to you and you can speak to me in person. I will be mostly on my Discord, but there are also other things I can do. There are also other things I'm gonna do. And that's it for this, guys. What if? Yes, this has been an hour-long video, and I hope you enjoy this what if. Bye, guys, and like, subscribe to the What If Rogue community. Our goal is to get to 1K, basically 1K subscribers. We are 600, we need 400 subscribers more. 400, that's it. We're already at 600. Just 400 people hits that subscribe button, we reach our goal. And then I can just clap for all of you, because you did something collectively. Huh? This is, and also, quick brief info on some of the other what ifs I'm doing. Yes, I will be continuing the what ifs that are up right now. What if Deku and Bakugo was basically that what if, the Deku and Bakugo what if. Yes, I will be finishing the Ruby what if. I will be finishing it. And if I finish it, I will state to you if I finish the Ruby what if. It might come out soon. We don't know. I don't even know. But I will be finishing the Ruby what if quite soon. Until next time, guys. Bye. And one final thing before I go. I know you might be thinking, yes, Rogue Assassin, this video is horrible. This is bad sound quality. People are speaking in the background. He's making noise. What are you doing? This video is bad. The first video is always bad, I can tell you that much. But it's always the best videos that start out bad and then end up to be one of the best videos on somebody's channel. It's always one of those best bad videos. But anyway, I am not perfect. I make mistakes. And things will change in the future. If I keep on doing this video, this what if, I will get used to it and I might be able to make a storyline. Like I did with my Ruby what if. So yeah, just expect more what ifs coming from this. And expect this what if to be a very, very long what if. I don't know, Sigma 20 what ifs? 20 what ifs? 10 what ifs? I don't know. But think of this what if to be very, very long. And it won't stop very soon. It might be even the longest what if I have on my channel. It might be the longest what if I get on my channel. So yeah, until next time guys, don't forget, like, subscribe. 1K is our target. Join the description down below, join the Discord, and yeah, goodbye until next time guys.